The next area I'd like to address for professionals and executives, especially non-native speakers, are strategies for effectiveness. These are the best practices that I've developed over the years working with clients from many different areas, senior scientists who have to travel around the world explaining complex concepts to others, those who are engineers or managers or executives who need to impart opinions, knowledge, information to many different audiences in many different realms on many different topics. And what's important is to get super clear, crystal clear, on the specific areas that you need to improve on based on your speech patterns. Now, I'm not just talking about improving clarity, because of course that's important. But it's not just important to know that you're not always pronouncing everything perfectly. It's important to know specifically what you're doing different. An example would be someone who sounds too tentative. Now, you might say that's because my pitch isn't right, or my intonation isn't right. The problem is that's too hard for you to change. How can you change something that just isn't right? What's important to do is to record your speech. I recommend recording not the video, but simply the audio. The reason for that is you want to hear specifically what you sound like, not what you look like. What you look like can be distracting, especially if you're a visual learner. If you focus only on the auditory, you will be forced to hear your pitch, your tonality, the rhythm, the pacing, and all the qualities of your speech that are captured in the audio. This can be a painful experience for many people because they don't like their voices. However, you can't change that which you don't understand. So it is important to record, but it's also important to have an objective observer, or an objective listener in this case, to listen back to that recording and give you feedback about change. Many times your own personal feedback will differ from a mainstream American audience and what they might hear and take away from your communication. For example, someone who rises a lot when they speak can be seen as being too animated or too tentative, especially if it's always at the end. Someone who goes down too quickly and abruptly can be seen as being too authoritative. And so you may want to look at how you're perceived by others and what qualities you want to bring out in your speech. Now, that's a very simple example. There are much more sophisticated examples depending on the qualities that you would like to interject in your speech and how you want to be perceived by others. So again, it's important to get a sense of how you feel about your speech, but also how others react to you. And then to have a qualified coach who can help you create those nuances in your own speech. That's the challenge. It's one thing to know that you say things differently. It's another thing to create sustaining behavioral change. I'd be happy to discuss these areas with you in greater detail and determine if working with me is right for you.